In 2001, Allison was convicted in another abduction case and released from prison in 2020. He remains in jail on a $500,000 bond. Rebekkah, Ellis, thank you. Up next, a seaplane crashes and disappears near Seattle. And the investigation into the death of a Bed Bath & Beyond executive. If you have COPD, ask your doctor about Breastreak. Breastreak has made better breathing and helps prevent flare-ups. Before Breastreak, I was stuck in the past. I still had bad days. Flare-ups, which kept me from doing what I love. My doctor said, for my COPD, it was time for Breastreak. Breastreak gives you better breathing symptom improvement and helps prevent flare-ups. Like no other COPD medicine, Breastreak is proven to reduce flares by 52%. Breastreak won't replace Breastreak for some breathing problems. It's not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Don't take Breastreak when it's prescribed. Breastreak may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor for some breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems hearing, vision changes, or acne occur. Can't afford your medication? AstraZeneca may be able to help. If you have COPD, ask your doctor about Breastreak.
Let's see. Taalik says, can you send a shout out to my platform, the Realities Temple on Earth Internet Ministry? Our theme this year is After Purge Comes the Heal. Shout out to your platform, Taalik. All the best to you guys with continuing to stretch in perspective, to stretch in what is possible, and to continue to bring healing into the space of yourself and others. Yes. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Almost got on birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Birthday.
Thank you.
Cherry's birthday gonna be on Sunday, but
birthday.
Something going on in here.
happy birthday.
Come on,
Come on. Why you hiding back there? Why you hiding? Happy birthday. Yeah.
And all this propaganda that you want us to say, we're gonna take out. Freedom for my mind, freedom for my
You kidding? I don't know it. It's showtime. Come on.
The Michael Curtis face. Oh, break it down. Give him something he can feel. What?
I'm hungry.
Let me order here. Let me order here. And so they're well to do, and I'm her such a rich girl.
Nobody's on the list. So we gotta go outside and stand in the snow. She didn't bring any Noah's bagels. So they wouldn't put us on the list.
How you do? Okay. Oops. Oh shoot. Down with OPP.
All right, she said it. Tell me.
What's hilarious is she is not technologically disadvantaged. I am.
Yeah, no, they treat me great.
My remedy is pound cake with vanilla ice cream on the side.
I turned up, yeah, I'm a boss. I paid that price. Close your mouth again.
I'm that East Coast big guy. I use it up in that word. You can't start no fragment except you get on my word. I use it up in that word. And if you ain't talking about money, then I can't know you.
Hey.
Good morning. Just love me.
Down,
Yeah.
or something like that. My personal life. I really don't want to discuss that. Are these condoms?
Well, there's everything's in here. Throat spray. But they go in Mike packs when you got that stash room Mike pack.
I was like, what? I get to kick and hit somebody? Oh yeah, this is gonna be good.
I felt like Tony Braxton.
My bestie's better than yours.
Terry just did a gangster move right now.
She's asking me, and I'm not quite sure I know. Actually, she knows better than I do. Old building.
Cause you can't close nobody.
Y'all. That's not true. Wendy. Wait.
Whoa, look, Tina Turner's in the front row. Oh, we have to make sure we dance right.
How's Terry doing?
Terry's doing fine.
The nun.
Thank you for asking.
Do we still call you the nun?
Good night.
10-4, good buddy. We're out.
Over and outie.
Sister, sister girl, this song's for you. Let's talk about the changes we've been through. I hear your laughter, and girl, I share your pain. 'Cause the heart of every woman is the same. Now what makes us different? Sister, sister girl. Such a long time. One day I always knew I'd hear from you again, but I'm sorry to find you're having such hard times. But you thought of me and your time was needed, so I say you're lonely, and I will come running. Wherever you are, your love is to guide me. I'll be there wherever you need. Who thought it would ever come to this? One last day with no one last kiss. And the seasons go by. Every day you're on my mind, yeah. I long one day to be with you. So I say, I'll come running. Wherever you are, yeah. I promise I'll be there, never for all this to me. I promise you the love for one another was so true. Every time we went on with our lives, now we're all so far apart, too far to start. Too long, I must see you
There we go. I don't have a lot to say. Come to see Terry. That's Terry, Cindy, Ron. We can talk. I don't know why people don't like talking to me. I don't bite. I don't think. Terry Ellis will tell you I don't bite. You know. So anyway.
She's a lady, sophisticated lady, mother of mankind. Ooh, she's so divine. The charm of the girl, she's the strength of the world. Like a diamond in the rough. She's sweet, but she's tough. She's meek, she's mild. Takes care of business with a smile. The warm attitude, so cool when you're rude. Sweet when she freaks out. You're wrong, she'll dismiss ya. With such style and such grace, she brings class to the place. When she walks through the room, you have to assume that she's a lady. Oh, such a lady, such a lady. She's a lady. Oh yeah, sophisticated lady. She's a lady. She's a lady. Well, such a lady, such a lady. She's a lady, sophisticated lady. To the women of the world, you cannot believe it takes more than good looks or how well you can cook. It takes more than just teasing and pleasing a man. It's like a religion. It takes practice and vision. There's no substitute. You got to be real. There's no way you can fake it. Follow all the rules. Walking tall with your back straight ahead, riding high. And they'll say, she's a lady. Oh, such a lady. Such a lady. She's a lady. Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Peace forever and always. Thank you so much for joining us this spontaneous edition of what we call the Realities Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. You're welcome, Deacon. We do these videos or these live streams spontaneous. And as the people in religious circles would say, you have to move when the Spirit moves you. So we did a live stream yesterday, but I was moved by the Spirit to come before us today with this subject that it looks as though it should have been vice versa. This is more so a talk for Sunday rather than on Monday. But this is Labor Day. I hope that all of you out there are enjoying your Labor Day weekend, and I hope that it has been peaceful, because when we look at the news and when we look at what is going on around the world, it is not a peaceful environment. The Bible says that we walk in the valley of the shadow of death, but we fear no evil, of which that is not true. We fear evil. That's why we have locks on our cars, locks on our houses, locks on our bicycles. We're surrounded by locks because we do fear evil. This is why we carry knives and baseball bats, all kinds of weapons, because we do fear evil. So I don't know who wrote that. Now, there are some of us, like back in the day, because I truly believe that God was on my side, I didn't carry a weapon. I did not fear evil. And I knew without a shadow of a doubt, I was walking in the valley of the shadow of death. I'm very shocked. I'm here to talk with you today. I put myself in some very dangerous predicaments, but I was not afraid because God is on my side. God is with me. Unfortunately, a lot of believers in God, they really don't have a lot of faith in the Supreme Being. So they carry weapons. They put all kinds of cameras and alarms around their house because they do fear evil. I don't want to take up a lot of time. This topic, I was going to make a 15-minute video. But then after thinking a little bit, I decided that this subject requires a little bit more than 15 minutes. Before we get into our topic, into the subject matter, I want to send a shout out to our sister, Terry Ellis. It's her birthday today, and of course, it would not be right for me, as much as I talk about that sister, not to recognize her birthday today. We're the same age, 59 years old, and we have our health. That's the most important thing. And I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about Terry Ellis because it takes my mind off the job that we have to do right now, this particular topic. But again, happy birthday to Terry Lynn Ellis of EnVogue fame. The topic that we have chosen this evening, the human being is more powerful than God's will. The human being is more powerful than God. Just the title will make a lot of people upset. Just the title. How can you say such a thing? When we come here to this platform, I am not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to convert you to anything. I am not trying to make you believe in anything. All I ask of us who come here, Ahmed Delight, the Deacons of Reality, Mellow Cal, Brother Taalik, all of us who come here, Razzie Fry, Tafari Smith, Denzel, all those, Sister Ann, all of us who come here, what I ask of us is to think for yourself. That's all. Not trying to sell you a product, not trying to convince you of anything. I just want us to think. We lack critical thinking skills. When I talk to us, there's no books behind me to make you think I'm smart. Oh, he read all those books. He got the information. He did his research. I am like you. Because a lot of us have done a lot of reading. A lot of us have done a lot of researching, but we have not done a lot of thinking. That's our primary problem, is we really don't think. And we're gonna talk about why you don't think. We're gonna talk about why we don't think. There's a reason why. I'm not going to do a rush job, but I don't want to take all day either. Are we ready to go on this journey? All right. What was you and I before we came into this world? What were we? I believe it's the Quran. The Quran said we were nothing to speak of. And before we even came into this world, our parents got their groove on. Our mother carried half, and our father carried half. And that's why Terry is having a birthday today, because somebody got their groove on. I don't want to be nasty and vile, but many of us, we know what sperm look like, and we know what an egg is. That's what we were. This is what we were prior to where we find ourselves today. And if I'm wrong, if I'm incorrect anywhere in our talk, please let me know. We were sperm and egg. Do anybody, we know what that looks like, or we have an idea of what that is. We were sperm and egg. The naked eye cannot see, but we did exist. Sperm and egg do exist. But that's what we were. The sperm has no intelligence. There's no university of sperm. There's no college of egg for them to go to. Just two primitive cells that need to find each other to bond so they can create who we are today. There is no intelligence, only the blueprint of a species of our mother and our father in the DNA. That's all. As we mature in the womb, we turn into a fetus, and then we are born. Now, how many of you were born and you jumped out your mother's womb and you went straight to McDonald's and got you a cheeseburger? Raise your hand. Anybody? How many of you jumped straight out of your mother's womb and started riding your bicycle? That's not how things work. The Quran talks about we stay in this state and evolve until we reach our eventual perfection or maturity. But even when we mature into birth, we can't do nothing for ourselves. We don't even know we are alive. Is this true? We don't even know that we're alive. Your memory can only go back so far. You don't remember being in your mother's womb. You don't remember when you was born. We don't know nothing about those things. We come into this world knowing nothing. I could actually end this video right now just based on that. There are those who say and claim that we are Muslims by nature. When we come into this world, we don't know nothing about no Muslim. The only thing we know is we cry and we search out a food source, which is our mother's breast.
And this is instinctive. It has nothing to do really with the brain. It's just the body knows it has to eat, and this baby reaches out for a food source. As we are infants, we can't do nothing for ourselves. We can't feed ourselves. We can't change our own diapers. We're helpless. So why do I bring this up? I don't hear people shame that our life began taking a dump on ourselves. Can't feed yourself. I don't see people talk about, man, it was so nasty. I was a sperm and an egg. I don't hear people talking about they are ashamed of being a helpless baby. You can't do nothing. Vomit on yourself. Doo-doo and pee-pee on yourself. I don't hear people ashamed of your beginnings. But as we grow older and come into this world, there are those who become ashamed of humble beginnings that we don't have any control over. My mother only had a 6th grade education. My father was known as let me start. Okay, my mother only had a 6th grade education. My father, according to my grandmother, because I really don't know, according to my grandmother, this is what she told me about my daddy, my father. He was a drunk and a roach carrier. He was known for carrying roaches around in his car. Okay. It doesn't make any difference whether I'm ashamed or not. It is what it is. These are my parents. My mother did not have a college degree. She did not have a high school degree. She had a lot of street smarts. And my father had a lot of street smarts. You had to learn how to survive in this racist world. And they were able to navigate it until the Lord called them home. But my mother had a 6th grade education and my father was a roach carrier. Now, for some people, they would feel ashamed. They would never tell that, nothing like that. You want to come on YouTube and get with your friends. Either you don't talk about your parents at all, or you want to talk about, well, you know, my father's a state senator. We got 3 or 4 grocery stores. You want to say something that you can brag about. You can't brag about your mom 6th grade education and your father's a roach carrier. That's nothing to brag about. It brings shame. Or your mother is a prostitute. Your father is a pimp and a crackhead. Those things we feel shame. This is who we come from. This is what's there to be shame about. It is what it is. I can't change it and would not want to change anything. Because apparently there's something about my mother and my father that caused me to be who I am. And I love me. And I love them. Not ashamed of anything. But there are those who are actually ashamed of their parents, their family, because they're poor, uneducated, or whatever. My people, like so many of us, soul brothers and sisters in this nation, I am the descendant of sharecroppers. I am the descendant of slave. I feel no shame being a descendant of a slave. I have no shame saying my history began on the slave plantation because that's all I know. I don't have no shame. Like I have no shame of my mother, my father, and my people who were sharecroppers. I have no shame. But there are those of us who are ashamed. Oh, no, brother, you're wrong. We're going to stop you right there, sir. Soul brothers and sisters, as you want to say, our history started in Egypt, in Africa, Timbuktu, or somewhere in some foreign land, and we was kidnapped and brought here. My mother was not kidnapped and brought here. My father was not kidnapped and brought. You know what I'm talking about. No, I don't know what you're talking about. They feel shame of our origins. They want to claim history that they did not contribute nothing to that history. They're not part of that history at all. Now, I know my mother and I know my father. I cannot claim their history prior to my birth. Even though that is my mother, that is my father. I cannot claim their history prior to my birth because I didn't even exist. How is somebody that didn't even exist claim history and you weren't even around? You weren't no part of it. I'm talking about personal. We talk about on a personal level here. How can I claim when my mother baked a cake in 1952 and I wasn't born till 10 years later? How can I claim that cake? That's my mother. She did that. I didn't help. I wasn't around. That's her history. My history begins when I'm born. How are you going to claim history in Africa? You wasn't born there. You have nothing to do with that. You have no contribution to that history. You want to claim it because those people did something you can brag about. You want to share that. But when you are asked, how did you contribute? What is your connection to that history? You can't show nothing because it's not yours. You only want to claim it because you feel shame and you suffer low self-esteem. You want to claim it because you really don't even know the history of soul brothers and sisters in this nation, how incredible we have been living in oppression in this nation, all of our accomplishments. You don't even know our history, let alone trying to claim somebody else's history. And then when they tell you, you don't got nothing to do with this, you want to get angry and upset. You don't. You don't have nothing to do with that. I am not ashamed of my humble beginnings, no more than you should be ashamed of being a sperm and an egg, or a baby that take a dump on yourself. Why aren't you ashamed of being a sperm and an egg, but you are ashamed? My history, it didn't start on no slave plantation, sharecropping. These are the people that want us to follow and be like them. You want to show off and brag. And the sad thing is all this African Egypt stuff, that's the past. The pyramids is just some rocks sitting in the sand somewhere. Doing what? It's the past of Africa. Because they damn sure not doing nothing now. So why you want me to embrace something that used to be great? It ain't great now. Nobody cares about your paycheck from last week. What you bring in this week. Nobody cares about the past like that. We talking about the now. But we suffer low self-esteem so terrible. They just out here claiming anything. As long as they have black skin, that's our history. That's mine. Now, if you notice, there's a lot of foul stuff in African history. They don't touch that. There's a lot of murder, rape, genocide in African history. They don't touch that. Only what they think can make them feel good. So you're not any different than the black Christians that y'all talk about. You just want to feel good. That's why they go to church. They want to hear the word of the Lord so they can feel good. Now, when you go home, ain't nothing changed. You're still in bad shape. But for a few minutes, you can feel good. And that's all Pan-Africanism is. It's turned into a religion that's all pro-black scholarship conscious stuff. It's nothing but a modern day new religion. And folks just want to feel good. So they steal and plagiarize foreign history. Take it for themselves. The same thing that they claim the European. They said that the European stole so much from Africa. You do this, you're doing the same thing. It's not your history. It's not your artifacts. We're not related to King Takahuman, Takahakin, whatever his name is. You a thief and a liar, just like your European counterparts. You ain't no damn different. But for us, we are happy in our own skin. Almond Delight is happy in her skin and the Dickens. We here, come here. We are happy in our skin, regardless from where we come from. And where we find flaw and error, we simply try to be better. So I have climbed the ladder a little bit better than my parents. I don't carry roaches in my car. And I did go beyond the 6th grade. I'm not a smart fella. But we have progress and climb the ladder just a little bit higher. But I'm not ashamed of where I come from. I'm not ashamed of my parents or my grandfather and grandmother. I'm not ashamed of us as a people. I don't need Africa. I don't need somebody overseas history to steal. I'm a child of James Brown. I get up and do my thing. I get up and do my thing. I don't want that used stuff, expired goods, leftovers, freezer burn. Quite capable of getting our own. Proud of who we are, our originality, our uniqueness. We are brand new and we are strong. They should want to be like us. And you will see, once again, the world gonna be and want to be like us. Out with the old, in with the new. We are the new, the original, and the unique. We are creative. We have the vision. How is somebody going to come here on our platform with some microwave oven food, and the only thing that you get here is fresh and clean? We had some guests on here. There was a brother that told us he was going to prove that God exists. And there was another brother that was talking about Nation of Islam stuff or whatever. And there was another brother who said he wanted to challenge our ideas, and he backed off. You see, they don't come back. Because you're not going to come here with that outdated stuff, mindset, and think you're going to have it good. We don't shout. We don't disrespect. And when they come here, you see, I sit back in the cut. I don't say anything. Let them talk. I let them teach us, because we're not beyond teaching. I'm not beyond teaching. You can teach me. Go ahead, try. But you can't teach us nothing with that outdated microwave oven, been expired since 5,000 years ago mindset. You're not going to get that. You're not going to pull that off here. We don't want that kind of food. Clean and fresh. So when we come into this world, We know nothing. Absolutely nothing. So all these people talking about we are nothing but old spirits and we are returning again. Who in their right mind want to come back to this? Raise your hand. Who want to come back to this? We come into this world and know nothing. There's not one child that come into this earth already programmed, because we know nothing. We are a clean slate. So this means we have no concept of God, because we know nothing. There's no baby, there's no infant that come into this world that cry for any of these gods. There's at least 700 of these gods, and there's no baby that come out and asks for not one of them. The best you're going to get from a baby is mama, or maybe daddy. They don't say Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Buddha, or whatever these gods are. There's not one child that come on this planet that screams for one of these gods. That's a taught behavior. That's a learned behavior. That's a conditioned behavior. If we wasn't taught about spirits and spooks and demons and gods, we wouldn't talk about it. We wouldn't even bring the subject up because it's not real. That's part of belief. When we get here on this planet, what forms the brain in our thinking is environmental factors, human examples, our interaction with our mother and father, other children, people in society, the educational system that we are exposed to, and of course, religious beliefs. We have none of this prior to coming to birth. Now, if anybody that's listening, anybody in the chat room can show me one example of any child that come onto this earth and they talk about God and they talk about car repair and they talk about whatever. They don't. We learn these things. The only God that exists to us is mama. That's usually why one of our first words that we understand is mama. This person gives me my food. This person cleans my boo-boo. This person sings songs so I can go to sleep. This person I can run to because I'm scared. Mama. And then perhaps daddy. But mama is always first, and brothers need to stop tripping. Mama always gonna be number one, no matter what you say, no matter what you do. The child developed in mama for 9 months. The child suckle on her breast. Mama is the caregiver. There's very few men on the level of mama, and you don't even want to do that. Men don't want to clean no diapers. You don't have no breasts. You don't want to hug that child. You don't want to do that. That's mama. That's her nature. That's what she's supposed to do. And then we as men, as male, we deal with the children when they get a little age. And because we don't have that connection, we can issue out the punishment or the discipline that the child needs more so than mother, because mama don't want to hurt that baby because they have this so close relationship. You love your children too, but you don't have that connection like mama do. So you're going to tell me that God exists, but clearly God does not exist. We don't have any knowledge of it. So how God going to exist until somebody tell you that? None of this is self-discovery. How many people discover this on their own? We are taught about God from our parents. In society, we have been conditioned to think that way. Now, for me, and probably for many of us, when I first heard this, my brain said, no such thing. No, 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 no. We force the brain to accept unnatural thinking process. Because your brain tells you, because I know it happened to me, your brain would tell you that something wrong with that. No. Just like your body tell you about crack cocaine. Your body would tell you, don't mess with that stuff. Your body would give you a sign, don't mess with the liquor, don't mess with the crack cocaine. Your body would tell you, you're going to do it anyway. Your body tells you, when you taste certain things, stay away from it. When you smell certain things, that's foul. And that's the physical. But mentally, your brain will tell you, when somebody telling you something that's not real, that ain't right. But we accept it anyway. We force it. We force our brain to accept it. And since you want it to be real, our brain will make images and give you thoughts so it can be real for you. But all of our experiences is different because our brain is going to give us something just for us. That's why your supernatural experience, you can't share it with me because it's your hallucination. It's your delusion. You can't share that with nobody except yourself because you force your brain to believe in something that's not real. You don't want to accept that one of your loved ones is dead. So your brain make you see images of your deceased father, brother, cousin, or your dog Scruffy. There goes Scruffy. Come on, Scruffy. Damn, Scruffy been dead for 5 months. No. I seen Scruffy. And what you see is real. It's real to you. Only to you. Only you see Scruffy. Or your grandfather. That's what your brain. You force your brain to believe and you want to see. I used to see those things. I saw dead people. I saw a dead man raise up out the coffin. I seen a dead man knocking on our door. I've seen all this supernatural stuff too. Matter of fact, I even seen spirits and the person wasn't even dead yet. My baby sister was walking around the house and she wasn't dead. And I saw her walking around the house. It's our mind. What's the song from the Ghetto Boys? My mind playing tricks on me. That's all it is. Since I don't think that way anymore, I don't see ghosts, I don't see goblins, spirits, none of that stuff. We have invited a ghost and a spirit to the platform. How many times? Not one have shown up. I have invited, my mother is no longer here with us. I asked her, Mom, could you come to the live stream? She has yet to come to the live stream. God does not exist until a man make him exist in our mind. God only exists as long as you believe in that. If you don't believe in it, God does not exist. God exists for you because that's what you want to believe. God does not exist for me. An apple is an apple. It does not make any difference whether you believe or not, or what the name of the fruit is. An apple exists. That's the way God should be. But God only exists in your mind. The apple is going to exist. It don't make no difference. It's here. Whether you believe or not, it don't make any difference. But that's not how it is with spirits and spooks and demons and all this stuff. So how did we get into this? How did we get here, y'all? Can we hang just for another half hour, maybe? I'm gonna wrap this up. How did we get here? Let me get a drink here real quick. Okay. All right. Going back to our history, that y'all shame of, from what I have been told, my ancestors were slaves for not 3 years, not for 30 months, over 300 years. That's a long time. What kind of life did our ancestors have in 300 years? We were traumatized. We were traumatized for 300 years. Do you know how many generations that is? Many people who suffer abuse and trauma. And I'm going to use this as an example. Oprah Winfrey had a show. And it was this little white girl. And she suffered from multi-personality disorder. Many people who suffer abuse, neglect, and trauma as a means, as a means of coping with the exploitation, the abuse, the trauma, they turn into themselves and they create a new world in their mind. I want you to follow where I'm going with this. So this little girl, now this is an extreme case. The little girl was in her own world. She lived with her parents, but they wasn't in her world. She made up her own world with all kinds of, there was no people in the world. Talking animals, talking rats and cats and stuff. And I assume there were no people in her world because it was the people that was causing her problems. So she edited them out in her world. Oh, okay. So Oprah is trying to interview the little girl. Now, some of us, we would be impressed talking to Oprah Winfrey. Ooh, it's Oprah. Oprah talking to me. Ooh, Oprah. Oprah is not in her world. Oprah asked the little girl, can I interview you? I don't go away. I don't want to talk to you. She don't care nothing about Oprah. She don't care nothing about Oprah is some kind of celebrity known all over, the talk show host. Little girl don't care nothing. You're not in my world. And so for a few minutes, the little girl started talking to Oprah. And she started pointing. She started pointing at her friends. And so the little girl pointed at the rat. The rat is a troublemaker in her world, this rat. And Oprah is looking for the rat. There's no rat that we can see. The little girl, the rat is doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and a cat and these other animals. Oprah don't see nothing. And the parents don't see nothing. The only one who can see the rat and the cats and the raccoon or whatever these is the little girl. It's all in her mind. Trauma produces invisible friends. Woo! Trauma produces invisible friends. You make up your own world. So I would assume, and I conclude, this is the reason of why we as a people embrace God and spirituality because of the tremendous 300-year abuse and trauma that we had to deal with. So we had to look outside of reality, somewhere else, to give us relief from the hell that we were suffering 300 years. Because of trauma. Now, there are those who don't suffer abuse. There's a lot of people who never was a slave, and they gravitate towards spirituality and religion, but not like us. We really embrace the invisible friend because we need that. Because we live in a traumatic environment. We have not healed from the trauma. We still need a way out. Okay, so now we understand why we embrace spirituality and religion the way that we do, because of trauma. And we create our own world we live in, and our invisible friends. Allah is invisible, Jesus is invisible, Yashara is invisible, the spirits and the demons, all of it is invisible. Okay, look. We was a slave for 300 years. What does that mean? Sister Tanya, what does that mean? We was a slave for 300 years. What does that do to a people? It makes you want to follow. It makes you want to serve. Even though you are physically free, you still have a sense, I got to serve somebody. I got to submit to somebody. Why is that? Because you haven't broke away from slavery yet. It is unnatural for any life form to want to serve and worship and submit to another life form. That's unnatural behavior. But we do it. Now, if you notice, in the Bible and the Quran, those people, no matter how God threatened them, no matter how God punished them, they refuse to submit and serve God because it's unnatural. That's unnatural behavior. It's better to be dead than serve God or some man or whatever. That's unnatural. So these religious and spiritual teachings that we have, they don't heal us from slavery. They keep us on the plantation. We got to serve and bow down to somebody. Somebody always better than us. The invisible friends. This need to serve somebody. That's slave teachings. Well, our ancestors, slave teachings. I don't care who did it. and when they did it. It is unnatural for us to want to bow down to some superior power. Slave teachings. And so Pan-Africanism and the Black conscious community, they want to condition us to continue to be slaves. And as long as we are slaves, we are easy victims for their exploitation. The Pan-Africans and the Black conscious community, they have done nothing for us except scam us, sell us false hopes and dreams, because people understand our mindset. Marcus Garvey is a Jamaican. What did he know about living in America? He tried to sell his story or his beliefs to his own people, and they like, get out of here. Nobody want to hear that. Get out of here. So Marcus Garvey got on a boat, came to America. Next thing you know, he got 6 million. Excuse me. Next thing you know, he has 2 to 6 million people following him. People always seek us out because they know that we're spooky and we have a slave mind, looking for a savior, looking for a Messiah, looking for a shepherd. So Marcus Garvey come here and he target us, our ancestors in America, and they go for what Marcus Garvey said. He's selling false hopes and dreams like any other religion. Well, y'all African, and he telling you how wonderful you are king, and we so great in the great history. We're eating all that stuff up because we have a slave mind. That's a good massa. Marcus Garvey, a good massa. Now, mind you, there's nothing wrong with supporting leadership that's good for us. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when you allow yourself to be a slave. So the same slave mindset that helped Marcus Garvey create his organization was the same mindset that caused it to fall, because the people themselves were sheep. And when the shepherd was deported, it all fell apart. How can you gather 6 million people, and just because one man leave, it all fall apart? Because they were nothing but sheep looking for a massa. And when massa left, then the sheep start falling apart. Same thing happened in the Nation of Islam. When Elijah Muhammad died, it all fell apart because they sheep. A sheep has no thinking ability. And this is how people talk to Black Americans. We're dumb herd animals. We need somebody's teachings. We need guidance. Folks look at us as stupid. And we go for it. In the Nation of Islam, you have Master Farad Muhammad. Notice they call him Massa. Master Farad Muhammad. He come from Pakistan, Mecca, wherever. He's a foreigner. He don't go to the white community. He don't go to the Asian community. He don't go to the Irish. Come straight to black folks. Because we spooky, we have a slave mind. Looking for a savior, looking for a Messiah. We're looking for Massa. And so we began following him. Master Farad Muhammad. All over this country, in all these churches, looking for a Messiah, looking for a savior, a Massa. Then you have somebody like Jim Jones. And we know what Jim Jones did, but Jim Jones understood the mindset of black folks. He understood. And they followed him. And he killed them. But we need a Massa. We need somebody to serve. We need somebody to follow. We need teachings. When you come here, I never talk about the teachings because there are none. The only thing here is, can we think for ourselves? That's all we ask here. We don't ask you to believe nothing or convert you to anything. Just think for yourself. And so we are fodder for the preachers and the scammers. We're easy victims because we have a slave mind and we're spiritual. We need a Massa. And we still carry the trauma from 300 years of slavery. And we have a need to seek these invisible friends. So this is where all this comes from. In my conclusion, I want to say to us, here we are, the Reality's temple on earth, and we stand strong. We stand proud. We stand confident. And there's no God. So what makes us stand strong and speak strong and be proud and carry ourselves with confidence? It's not God. You don't need that. Because God is a figment of man's imagination. God is a product of our will. God did not create us. We created God. There was no God when we came into this world until somebody told us that lie. Because we come into this world knowing nothing. We don't know nothing about spirits and spooks and demons and gremlins. All that is taught. And we have risen and matured above all those things. We have risen above God because we embrace reality, and God is in a fictional world. I would like to debate any of these persons on this. You're not going to win the debate. fantasy and fairy tales is never going to win over reality. Never. It's never going to do that. You should be ashamed of yourself as an adult. You still need an invisible friend. And we used to laugh at children that had invisible friends. Oh, little Johnny, that's not real. But here you are as an adult, and Allah is real, and Jesus is real, and Noah and spirits and demons is real. You know better than the child. And most children do that because a lot of times they don't have other children to play with. They've been ostracized from other children. So I make up my own friends. See where that come from? Make a world of your own. Now, in my world, me and Terry, we married. in my world, it's not real. But in my world, my imagination, it's real. Now, when I make such a claim and can't prove it, then you know something has gone wrong with me. Because I don't care how much you believe, you can't make it real. I don't care how sincere you are, you can't make it real. I dare to say that the human being is more powerful than God because we are an example. We're standing strong. We're standing correct. And we are more righteous than some of these Bible thumpers. And there's no God holding us up. We can accomplish what you can and more. And there's no God involved. So on that note, if there's any comments or questions or anything like that, then we're gonna bring this live stream to an end, and I would hope to see you in the future, and we can talk a little bit more and bring reality to us the same way they bring fairy tales and fiction. Did you hear that? Did you hear them knocking on the ceiling? Insanity. The insanity that we have to put up in life. I will. It's crazy. But on that note, let's get out of here. I want to send a shout out to our Facebook and Instagram listeners, those who are watching and those who will be watching this broadcast later. I appreciate it. It's always an honor to talk with us. Shout out to Armin and Mellow Cap and Denzel, Tafari Smith, Sister Ann, Razzie Fry, and MD20, Black Sign, Brother Talib, and all those who support this platform. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And on that note, I guess we're gonna get out of here. And of course, Send a shout out to Terry Ellis. Hope that she had a real nice happy birthday. So peace out, y'all.